Hello everyone, this is DJMM here, making this video for that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and these are my opinions for it. I hope you all will enjoy, so let's get into the video. As everyone sees on this image, I wanted to show that this video is in 180p. It has Dolby True HD Audio 5.1 in English or 2.0 in Dolby True HD. With that in mind, I have upscaled this to 4K quality, as well as upscaling it to Dolby True HD 7.2. So my opinion may be slightly more different due to the upscaling, and might not be as perfect. So please keep that in mind as you watch this video.
You don't hurt anywhere. I'm not cold.
Okay, as the video shows, this is very beautiful scenery for the beginning of this series. It definitely does have a darker, but more of a lighter blue hue to the entire scene for episode 1. And it definitely does stay there throughout the beginnings of this series, which is something I truly did enjoy in 4K. Now, when it started getting more towards the dragon, Filmdora, as we all know, it started definitely changing in the color design to make it more reds, blacks, yellows, different colors mixing in with the darker blue hue towards the back round scenery. It definitely was a visual difference, and it was truly stunning in certain moments. When it comes to animation, you can definitely tell the differences between from when it began to when it is, especially in 4K.
I was stabbed. Yeah, okay then. It'll be alright. No need.
Okay, as we go to the sounding for the beginning stages of the series, the front stage is very prevalent. The voices are always loud and clear. There isn't much depth in characters towards the beginning, but there is plenty of surround effects, which I will show right now. As I've shown you there, the surround effects for a 5.1 setup was very loud and prevalent. My Polk Audio speakers T15s that I have for sides definitely did show its power. I would say from the beginning it did lack on the back end for the entire 7 speaker surround sound. But beyond that, the bass was nice and heavy, and it was very nice and deep. I would say though, when it comes to voices, when I mean low end, I mean throat deep, very low rumble voices. There wasn't many of them until one particular character came in mind.
You dare call me Baldy? You're rather bold for a slime.
As I show you there, even the subwoofers were being picked up with his voice. It was low, it was rumbling, it was insane. I would say it was kind of disappointing afterwards though, because it kind of went back to its normal soft tone voices, not very much of a high or low end, I should mean, of characters. But with that in mind, is it bad? No. Honestly, when you have these soft tone characters, you need a good center that has more of a softer tweeter or horn, so it doesn't make it so harsh on the ears. Luckily, when it comes to my speakers, they are very fine for characters with that idea in mind.
Skill, water pressure potion acquired.
Okay, let's get to this final portion here. When you basically think of back surround speakers, they're really meant for really separation. And honestly, when it comes to this series, it does get used as the video shows, but it's not used as you would have typically want it for separation. It's more for extra boost to the front stage of dialogue, or for a little bit more bass reflex. So honestly, if you're expecting an entire amazing 7.1 mix, I'm sorry to say, the series that does not cut it completely.
Holy real and not made up hot muscular dude bod has now been streamlined into this small gelatinous form? Yes, right, there's no way I'd be that chill about it!
But as I shown there, when it comes to playing 5.2 surround sound, that's where it definitely shows its amazing color and formality. It definitely shines. I would say it could be because I'm upscaling it, so I'm not going to blame it on the series. Just keep in mind, your experience will be more different than mine. So basically take my ideals with a grain of salt, knowing my system is different than yours. And when you watch it, you may actually experience it 100% better than I ever could imagine. Okay, now when he finally gets out of the dungeon, as people know where he began, if you have seen the series yourself, the visuals for the scenery when you finally see the outside world is gorgeous. Its painting aesthetic is almost stunning. In 4K, it blew my mind of the detail in everything. Honestly, it would take more than one shot to constantly rewatching it to see it all. It's that breathtaking. And beyond that, you definitely start seeing more colors, more sparkle into the series when he finally steps out into the world for the first time.
The air tastes so sweet! Not that I can taste. Dear Beldora, as it turns out, I'll have a cool story to tell.
Okay, now when it goes to the sound effects of the entire scenery, trees blowing in the wind, all of it, it's also quite gorgeously stunning. It actually was quite impressive hearing the birds chirp and everything else, even though you did hear the characters playing in the front stage, you heard the birds chirping in the back and side surrounds. I think by this point you start seeing more detail for the entire 7-speaker system from this point on, and it only gets better from here.
Whatever! Let's do this! Come at me, bro!
Ha! Well, it's your funeral! Yeah, let's get it, guys!
Where'd they come from?
Die! Flash attack! Heavy hitting punch! Cast fireball! Magical death! Wow! It bounced off.
Just like I said before, it's pretty much a 5.1 mix as you would expect. I think when it comes to something like this, there is ambiance from the back speakers to make a full 7.2, but mostly it sticks to a 5.2 surround sound. And honestly, just as I showed there, it's definitely prevalent in more action-packed scenes. A missed opportunity, most likely. Now I will say, there is magnificent detail when it comes to back surrounds, mostly when you start seeing it definitely into the more prevalent magnificent scenes, like what you see in this image here. Definitely that sword starts to shine and the sparks start to fly. You start hearing each hammer hit in the back surrounds, and it definitely does show its prevalent nature there. It's actually quite naturally a 7.2 at that point, but when it gets to the calmer scenes, it mostly sticks to ambiance, and that's where you don't really hear it as much.
Still, though, it's not like there was much left there to mine anyway.
The ore's all been cleared out, so even if I could get my hands on the materials, it'd take 2 weeks to make 20 swords. To be honest, I don't have enough time. Unfortunately, I only have 5 days to deliver every one of those awards to the king. Every smith in the kingdom has been asked to complete the same project, and if for some reason we can't do it, then they've threatened to revoke our certifications.
That's awful.
Man, that sucks for you. Wait, if it's magic ore.
The final thing I wanted to say, well, I got one more after this, but besides the point. The visualization for this entire series until he gets out of the cave and starts seeing the world. You start seeing the biggest differences in color. It definitely does shine, it pops, it's gorgeous in 4K. And honestly, you definitely can see it by the images I'm showing. It goes beyond stunning to crazy visuals, to a point where your pretty much breath is taken away. It's something that is known to be there, and honestly I would say I can't know how it would be, but I bet you 180p is about as stunningly gorgeous when you watch it yourself. It's one of those type of series that is truly enjoyable to see with your own 2 eyes. Okay, as I've shown for the last part of this, I have seen this to episode 6. Everything you have seen is from episode 6 down to episode 1. And honestly, the series is incredible. The bass is nice and hard. The sound is amazing around you. The visuals are incredible. There's ups and downs, of course, but I wouldn't blame it on the series. I would say from what I'm experiencing is because it's been upscaled to that quality. If you basically seen this yourself, your experience may be different than mine. With that in mind, I am going to have a part 2 for this series from episode 7 down to finish the rest, and I'll put my thoughts for that coming soon. I hope everyone will enjoy the opinions and details that I put into this video, and I will see you all for the next one very soon.